So today I'm sat with Mandy from abuse.Its, which is a charity who is local to me here. Something that's quite personal, for personal reasons, a charity that I'm very interested in, raising awareness for them and the work that they do. ACTS stands for the Abused Children's Trauma Support, is it? Yeah. And specifically abuse.Its is a charity that works with families and carers of children who have been sexually assaulted, sexually abused. So how long has the charity been set up, Mandy?
Well, we set up in 2014, so we're just sort of moving into our 6th year now.
Yeah.
We support parents and carers and family members that are affected when a child discloses they have been sexually abused.
Yeah.
That can be ongoing, and it's irrelevant how old the child is as well. So the child can be an adult now that has disclosed non-recent abuse. And I think really, well, in Dorset there was nobody actually supporting the parent, and I think there was a little understanding of the impact that it had on the parent. We liken it to a bomb's gone off in the family when there's been a disclosure.
And it's something that we've been discussing before this chat with you guys, is that actually so often the focus is on the child. The focus is on the situation that happened, be it something that was ongoing or something that was a one-off. And you think that is the trauma. Actually, there's so many repercussions from sexual abuse or sexual assault. And it's actually something that I have never shared with you guys. I've actually never shared it with some of my closest friends, if I'm honest. But it's something that has affected me. It's something that I am a victim of decades ago, which makes me sound very old. But I was assaulted when I was younger, and I have had to live with the trauma and the after effects of that. Went through a Crown Court situation in London, and it's actually, talking to Mandy and the guys here at abuse.Its that's made me realise that it wasn't only me who was affected by that, but my family supported me in the aftermath of what I went through and through the court case. And the work that abuse is doing is incredible, and it's so valuable and so needed, because it isn't just the person who is in that immediate situation who is affected and who needs help. So and I've just been very shocked to find out that there is only about 3 charities like this in the country.
Yes, yeah. So we sort of filled the gap in Dorset back in 14, and there's Mossack in London who support the parents. They've been going for 20 years now, and then Step Up in Dagenham. So it's just the 3 in the country that do it, that recognise the shock, the isolation that the parent feels hearing that, and the feel of not being able to protect their child and not having anywhere to go with that, and underestimating as well, I think, that they also too need that support. They feel guilty of maybe not spotting it, not protecting their child, and we're here to help them see that it is something that isn't something that you would even consider would happen to your child.
And I think, again, another thing that we've touched upon in our conversation is that there's so many other things that come along with the trauma and the after effects, like eating disorders and sexual hang-ups as you get into other relationships. There's so many things that can affect all the people's lives who are involved or surrounding somebody. So it really is something that needs to be talked about, not just by the victim, but by the family and friends and carers of people affected. So if people are watching this video because they've perhaps Googled, they're going through this situation, maybe you're going through a court case, maybe you've been through it, and the effects of what you've all been through as a family are having an effect on you, then just tell us, Mandy, what do you do? how do you reach out and get support from your charity or one of the other charities that are out there?
You're welcome to just contact us directly. You can do that by email, phone, or someone can refer you to us. So I know some people like to email sort of late at night because it's that shame, that guilt that you're feeling. It could also as well, picking up on that also what the trauma is quite lengthy, and there is this perceived thought that it's gone, but the longer that also to pick up on the fact that when people are released from prison, so if there has been an individual that has had a successful outcome in the fact of the criminal justice system, I mean, that when they're released from prison, that's also another big hurdle that the family has to consider, and support would still be there for you with us as well. So it's something to think about, that it's the longitude, as you mentioned, it's the ripple effects after.
And fear, you know, what you've just said, I understand that fear personally, and it really is something that shouldn't be left to fester. I know through personal experiences that by not talking about these things and by not reaching out for help and support, even when you think you're really strong and you're doing really well, quite often it's when you're feeling like that, it's down the line, you know, it's years later that actually the impact of what happened to you or to somebody that you loved takes hold and has an effect on your life. And you know, it doesn't have to be a year later or a month later, we're talking decades later. It can still be affecting you and your behaviour, and the way you deal with things as you go through life. So as you know from my other videos, I feel very strongly that therapy and help and talking about things that you've been through and trying to work through situations is extremely important for children and adults alike. What this charity is doing is it's providing a fantastic service for people who do need to talk through what they've been through. And it's certainly made me think a lot more about, you know, the people that help somebody through a situation are so affected as well. And if you are one of those people, I know that Acts Fast is based in Dorset, but you take phone calls from people.
Yeah, we take phone calls irrelevant of where you are in the country. We'd be able, because sometimes just knowing that someone's there that's understanding you is healing in itself. But it doesn't matter if it is decades later, that you as a parent are still feeling those emotional things, emotional overwhelm, that still please reach out, because it doesn't matter how long it is, we understand the long-term impact that it has, and I think that's what's really quite key, is to remembering that, the long-term effects, and it's okay to reach out even if it isn't happening in your life right now, because what we do at the charity is recognise and say to our parents or family members that it's about building resilience around it and being there to be able to have someone just to listen, and that might only be once a month, it might only be once every quarter, but it's just knowing that someone is there for you. We liken it sort of like a domino effect, and so if your child has emotionally fallen over, you've fallen over, we're here to help hold you up, to help hold your child up, and so that as again, irrelevant how old your child is, it doesn't matter how old they are, they're still your child.
Yeah, the effect of these things is absolutely massive, and if you haven't already watched my video where I was chatting to Bruce, he tells his personal story, the trauma and the after effect of abuse when he was a child, and actually how he is dealing with it and coping with it as an adult, and the aftermath and the after effect is incredible. And it doesn't just affect the victim, as we've said, it does affect the people around the victim, the friends and the family, and it's a fantastic thing to know that there is a support. You know, there are charities that want to support you as well, so please don't if you're listening to this and it's struck a chord, please do pick up the phone and have a chat to these guys. Perhaps ask where you can get the best help for your situation. There's so many good people out there who are doing great things to help people who are in tricky situations, and it's a very hard thing to do, to put your hand up and say, do you know what, I can't do this on my own and I do just need to talk this through. But it can make the world of difference knowing that you are not alone and you are not the only person who's going through this and coping with it. So do put your hand up and ask for help. Pick up the phone and ask for help, because you do need support, and you do deserve support as well if you're supporting someone else.
And I know that's quite overwhelming to, you know, parents that do finally find us. It is overwhelming to reach out for that support, but you deserve it as much as anyone.
Yeah.
And we're here to listen to you unconditionally, non-judgmentally. We're here because we understand and want to support you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mandy, and thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. This is an incredible charity that, like I said, for personal reasons is particularly close to my heart. There's many, many children who go through sexually abusive situations and assault and rape, and there are some great support systems out there for victims as well as families of victims, so please do reach out and get that help. Thank you so much for talking to us, Mandy.